Hello and welcome. Here we have a 9,000 liter fuel storage tank which has been fitted with a Tecalemit management system. So in this video I'll be showing you how to pre-commission it, how to make it communicate with the online server, and make sure that everything works ready to go on site. Before we get started, we want to make sure we record the serial number of the unit, as well as make sure we have everything included here for the next steps. So that being said, we'll go upstairs into the office and we'll carry on from there. Alright, so I've opened the welcome pack, and here we'll have the installation sheet. That highlighted yellow bit is what we're going to need later on. We have 10 fobs which come included in the kit, an RFID tag reader, a Tecalemit USB stick, and the keys to open the pump box later on, along with some manuals that I highly recommend you browse through. So we'll turn on the computer and we'll log into the My Tecalemit software in a second. Alright, so open your favorite browser and go to mytecalemit.com, and where we'll have to sign up. So we'll click sign up here and into the register. Please include your name. I'll just use the business name. And use the email address you want to have associated with the account and create a password. Okie doke. It's very important, the next step, that you select language English, not English US, because if you select English US, the dates will be North American style. And click accept and register. An email with the registration will go to your email address. So head over to your email address and open the email and proceed to click on the registration link. And now we can go ahead and log in into the account with the details that we have just provided. Alright, so this is the welcome page. You'll only see this once when you sign up, so it's very important to activate the correct module. You should always include the first two modules. These are the basic and the reporting service, which all come with all of our units. And additionally, if you've got a Tecalemit 60 or 80 with a gauge, or a mobile unit with a gauge, that means you also have a tank level probe. So I would go ahead and click the last one as well, just to make sure that we activate the level probe. All units that are purchased through Western Global will come pre-purchased with the subscription. So to make sure you get that activated, make sure you put in the sales order number, the one that you got from us, which will start with the SOUK number, and then in the message you can put purchase from Western Global. And in about 14 days, you should have the full level system activated. So with that being done, we click create company and go ahead and input your address. So again, I will be using our name. And once you have everything ready, just go on and click save. Alright, so we have reached the home page with a dashboard. As we can see at the moment, there's nothing installed here. So we'll go ahead to inventory data, add fuel terminal. We'll go on with network configuration on this stage. And in the welcome pack, you should have a piece of paper indicating what needs to go into the APN field. So that would be iot.1nce.net. Once we got this bit in, just go ahead and click download. And we'll be prompted to save this file. So we'll go ahead and save it in downloads. And there it is. That's our file, network.dat. Okay, so we have the network.dat file. So we'll go ahead and we'll copy this onto an empty USB stick. It's very important that it is empty, as it helps the system find the file sooner. Sometimes if there's a lot of stuff, it can give errors. So my advice is just have an empty USB stick. And yeah, that should work just fine. So at this stage, we're gonna pause the computer and we'll go outside to the tank where we'll proceed with the next step. All right, so we're back outside with the tank. So what we'll do first is plug it in and allow the pump to go through its booting cycle. All right, so it's telling us that the modem is not configured. This is correct. So we'll go on and press exit, and it comes to the main screen. Again, letting us know that the modem is not configured, so we'll press exit again. So go on and input the master code, which is 5 times the digit 9. Click enter, and we'll scroll down to system, enter, keep scrolling down to extended, interface, read configuration, and now it's asking us to input the USB. So we'll use the black key to open the pump. And then on the left hand side here, there's a little flap that will push upward, and we'll introduce the USB stick that we just configured. Alright, so the unit has read correctly. We're gonna just pull out the USB stick, close down the flap, go on and lock the pump, and press enter. Now this will take a bit of time, so you can really go on and skip. Brilliant. So now that we see back the main menu, make sure to just exit all the way to the main screen. It will do a last connection, and by the time we go back to the computer, we should already see it online. So give it another 5 minutes and see you in a bit. Alright, so we are back onto our main page. So just click refresh, and there we have it. Our unit has just decided to show up. Okay, so click on that. You can name the tank whatever you choose to. In this case, I'll just use the tank model, which is an EBD 2000. That's a 9,000 liter tank. That's the identification of the unit. Time zone, obviously, we're gonna stick with Europe London. Connecting over the internet, that is correct, and connection time is defaulted by midnight. I'm just gonna select the time that usually the pump will be turned on if you don't keep it on all the time, and I'll ask the pump to connect every 6 hours. What does this do? Basically, to save on data, the pump is not connected to the server like you would be used to with your phone, for example, 24/7. It will just connect at these given times and check whether you have updated anything, whether you've added extra drivers or extra vehicles, and then it will download that information. This is not to send the dispensing data. That one will be done automatically as soon as someone has filled up. So we'll get to that one a bit later. Under input option, the default is vehicle, but in this case we're going to be using both driver and vehicle, and we're also going to be asking for running performance, which is basically mileage or hours depending on the vehicle you're using. And on the delivery points, we have the maximum dispense amount, time limit. I would select 15 minutes to prevent the pump from overheating, and timeout between fill-ups 1 minute. The product we're setting it up is for diesel, and the fuel tank sensor is already activated. Obviously it's turning red because that means we need to continue with the tank sensor, and that means here going into product and select diesel, and it likes that. The standard density for diesel it's 860 grams per liter. To get an accurate reading of your tank level, I would strongly suggest that you take a measured jug and you weigh 1 liter of diesel and then input the value, the weight of the diesel that you have. But for the time being, we'll just leave it at 860. And this bit has been pre-filled in by our workshop on the machine, which has a maximum fill level of 2,200 millimeters and a maximum volume of 9,213. So I wouldn't worry about this right now, but in a further video later on, I can show you how to get a more accurate reading of the gauge by inputting this data here. Thresholds, we can add a new threshold to let us know when we're running out of fuel. So we'll go for absolute static minimum, color red, and we'll want to be told at 1,000 liters that it's time to get more fuel, and we'll use our email address and save. So what I've done now is I've taken the 10 fobs that come with the system and I've numbered them all, and you'll see why in a minute. I've also taken the card reader, plugged it into any available USB stick, and when I'll prompt you, all you have to do is take the fob and just press it here, and that will be how it works. Okay, so we have finished configuring the terminal, so we'll go to add some vehicles. As standard, it comes with vehicle 1 pre-configured. We will go on and edit that. This is basically a test code that our workshop used to test the pump before it goes out. So we'll rename this vehicle 1. And here we'll take the fob marked with number 1, and as the cursor is blinking, we will touch the blue RFID tag reader, and you can see that the information has already been automatically filled in. We'll put the range in operating hours because it's most likely that it will be used with machinery, but if you use this with vehicles, you can select kilometers or miles, and we can go on and save. So we have vehicle 1. To add a new vehicle, click on add new vehicle, We'll name this vehicle 2. Again, as the cursor is blinking, we take the fob number 2 and we put it on the reader. Select 2 hours and save. Alright, so I skipped a bit and I've installed all 10 vehicle fobs. Process is identical, so we'll move on to drivers. And again, we can see the test driver here, so we'll edit that. So we'll rename it driver 1. Of course, you can use the actual, and I recommend you use the actual name of the drivers. This can be edited later on. And we're not gonna use a fob for this one, so I'll just use a pin, 5-digit code that the driver can use. This can be personalized and preferably not shared with anyone. If you want to use a second fob, you could, but that could be a bit cumbersome. And then you can also have a third authentication with a PIN and a personal number if you wanted to. But for now, we're just going to stick with that. And we'll add a second driver, add new driver, so it's basically identical. We'll call this driver 2. And we'll put this one 67890. So again, you can add as many drivers with codes as you need to, or you can bypass the driver authentication altogether if that's not required. So at this point, we'll pause again and we'll go back to the tank and we'll finish setting up over there. So see you in a sec. All right, so we're back in the yard. Unfortunately, break time is over, so it's a bit noisy. I hope you can still hear me all right. So the pump itself needs now to connect to the online terminal. So what we're gonna do is we'll press arrow right and then hold the key number 7 for 5 seconds and release. What we're doing now, we're prompting the pump to connect to the server and download the information that we've just filled in. Signal strength is pretty good. If you have signal strength under 10, you might have to repeat the steps a couple of times. So don't be disheartened about that one. So it had gone online, it has registered. So now we will actually ask it to go a second time. Press our right, and again, number 7. And now we wait. So found 12 data sets. That's our vehicles and drivers. So if you are adding extra fobs later on and you come and do this process and you see the number of extra fobs you've added, that's a confirmation that they have been downloaded. Remaining 0. So all the data sets have been downloaded. So we're on the right path. So you can see now that the top level is not asking for vehicle, it has gone straight to driver. That's because we've included a secondary authentication requirement for driver. So we'll go on and input driver number 1. If you remember, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then enter. So it's asking for a vehicle. So we're taking the fob, we're pressing it down in the middle. Hours of the vehicle, so you want to have these hours when you get out of the vehicle. So let's say our truck has 4,563 hours. Click enter. Please refuel. At this stage, with the nozzle, we can hear the pump running. And there you have it. Now the pump is completely configured. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure you didn't, but hopefully you've managed to configure it correctly, and I'll see you again with another video in the Tecalemit series. My name is Mihai. Thanks very much.